Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So as a young child,
Yeah.
um, parents think that kids don't understand or they don't get it
Mhm.
when they're having an issue
Mhm.
or there's a discussion. They think that the children don't understand
Mhm.
or just the atmosphere, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And with you as a young child, you had a revelation that something was going on with your father.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it amazing that you have that?
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Well, it was kind of like a intuition, I
That's what
guess.
I'm
An
thinking. Yes,
intuition,
yeah,
yeah,
that
that
something was
wasn't
not
not
right,
right. Yes.
right?
Mhm.
So your dad, there was a lady there that worked at the
Mhm.
and I guess she started talking with your father,
Yeah.
and you started to notice a couple things.
Yeah. So when he became the manager of Holiday Inn during the summer in Tucson, because it's so hot in Arizona, it's so hot, and there's really not a whole lot kids can do outside.
Hmm.
That he told us we could go down there to the Holiday Inn and use the pool, me and my brother. And so we were excited. We were like, wow, you know. And
Hmm.
so my dad would give us a key to a room where we could go in and change. And if we got tired from swimming, we could go in and just watch TV and get out of the sun or whatever. So that part was a very highlight of my childhood. I remember that being fun. And we could go into the restaurant that they had there in the Holiday Inn, and we could eat whatever we wanted. We could have dessert. I mean, it was fun. It was
Yeah,
really amazing. That was a highlight part of my childhood. But
kind of felt like a big shot, huh?
yeah,
That you
yeah,
can that you can go around and everybody
yeah,
knew you and you
yeah,
can just
yes,
kind of eat what
yes.
you wanted.
Everybody knew we were Victor Moran's
Uh-huh.
children, and they took real good care of us, and would tease us and watch it, make sure we were okay out there in the pool
Yeah.
because my dad was not out there with us very often. Sometimes he would. Sometimes he would come out and get off early, or maybe he'd take an hour or
Mhm.
two off because he was there till midnight. He'd go early in the morning and be there till midnight. So sometimes he'd take a few hours off and come out by the pool, but not very
Mhm.
often. So and that's when we began to see that there was a woman that would come out, and when he would come out, he would be, spending a little time with us. She would come out and start talking to him, and it was more than just a few minutes. She would linger and laugh, and there was a lot of at that time, even as a child, I could say there was a lot of flirting going on with
Mhm.
my father, and I could see it. I could see this woman doing that. So me and my brother were just a little bit taken back by this woman, and not knowing why, because my dad was my dad, and he was married to my mom. So
Mhm.
she did that quite a few times, and then she became very friendly to me and my brother, and would come out and check on us when my dad was, not able to, and she would ask us if we were hungry and stuff like that. And it just didn't. It was very nice of her, but it didn't feel right. It felt like she was being overly friendly, overly, we didn't know who this woman was, or ended up finding out she worked for the Holiday Inn with my dad. She worked there. So, yeah.
So your dad, yeah, surprised you all
Yeah.
with telling you all that you were gonna go down to the San Diego Zoo. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
I'm sure you were very excited about that because
Elated.
you didn't get to spend a lot of time with your
Right.
dad.
Right.
So here, your dad is saying, "Hey, let's go to the zoo and let's
Yeah.
have fun, MaryAnne." And you
Yeah.
went and your little brother.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. What happened?
So this is where the trauma began. Some of it. This is when things began to unravel for me in my life and in my family. But so he took us in the car, and we were elated. I was so excited because like I said, I had a distant relationship with my father,
Hmm.
and so this was exciting to me. I was
Right.
like, he wants to spend time with us. Like he wants to get to know us on a different level, and he
Hmm.
wants to have fun with us. And so he told my mom he was going to take us to the zoo, and that he didn't spend much time with us. So he wanted to spend the little bit of time that he had with us in the last part of his years, and while he was retired. And so we pile in the car and we go. And I remember just being the happiest kid you could imagine. I was just so happy to be with my
I
dad, and we're
imagine.
going to the zoo at San Diego Zoo, which was a big, huge zoo at that time. It was well known to be an amazing zoo. So we travel there and we check into our hotel room and we're just so excited. And I can't remember if we went that day or we slept. And I think we did. I think we checked into the hotel, and then we went to the zoo and we were just, I remember being a little girl just spinning around and running around and I was so excited. And next thing I know, I see this woman that was at the pool with my dad coming out and talking to him. She's walking up with her daughter and she begins to wave to us and wave to my father. And she begins to say, "Hey, Vic, how are you?" And oh my gosh, I didn't know you were going to be here too.
Mm.
And I remember as a little girl, just my heart sinking because I knew, or I felt that I knew that that wasn't by accident. I felt in my heart I was only, I believe 8, was I? I don't remember what I put
Yeah, I
in
think
that,
you wrote.
6, 7, 8, something
Yeah.
like that. But I remember just feeling like my heart sank, and that, and so she didn't just come and say, "Oh, wow, I didn't know you were going," but she began to walk with us, and she
Mm.
stayed with us, and then my dad told us to go and go with her daughter and go look at the
Mm.
animals and go, and even as a very young child, I knew that there was more to this than him wanting to take us to the zoo. And my heart broke.
Okay.
That joy that I had just, um, it became an awakening to me that this was not for us. This trip was no longer for us. So it was very heartbreaking. Yeah.
I guess it kind of felt like a betrayal.
Yes, a very big betrayal.
Like you got punched in the stomach.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
hey, Dad, it was supposed to be the three
Hmm.
of us, and now this other
Yeah.
woman is coming in,
Right.
and Mom's not here.
Right.
So all these terrible thoughts are going through
Yes.
your mind. And it just breaks my heart. It
Yeah,
just
so
absolutely breaks my
needless
heart.
to say, the zoo time, the whole 2 hours, I think we were there, 2 or 3 hours we were there, was not a happy time for me. And so we went back to the hotel and we were getting our key out to go back into our hotel room. And she came and she was at the very next door. She was at the very next
Mm.
hotel door. And again, acting as if that was a surprise that they had rented, and rented the room right next door to us.
Mm-hmm.
And then I knew that this was not an accident. And I named this chapter, Truth or Lies, for
Mm.
that reason. Truth and lies, because the truth was, you know, he did not take us there for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
He used it. He used us as a reason to go on a vacation to be with another woman. So
You know what?
yeah.
As I know you and your
Hmm.
personality, the next thing I want to talk about, I can definitely see you doing this.
Hmm.
Now, I could never do this, what you
Yeah.
just did,
Yeah.
what I'm going to tell in a
Yeah.
minute, but you're very bold as a young girl.
Hmm. Yeah.
Have you always been bold, you think?
I think because I was so bullied and I had to be strong and I had to fight for my life so much that it gave me a boldness.
Yeah.
And I was so bullied as a child that I developed a little bit of a strong will and a strong boldness and to be bold and to be fearless. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So this next part,
yeah.
you're furious and
Yeah.
you're so upset with her
Yeah.
dad that when they get to the room, she unlocks the door and goes over and you call your mother.
I did.
So tell us about
I did, and my poor brother, my
that.
brother had a heart of gold, and
Mm.
he didn't want me to do that. He was begging me, Mary, don't. What are you doing? I said, I'm calling mom, and he's like, no, you can't do that, like, and I'm like, no, this is not right, and I was so angry, so hurt, so felt betrayed, and I felt he had betrayed my mom too. And so you're right. I mean, that was a very bold thing to do. And my brother, he's trying to stop me, not because he didn't want the truth to come out, but he didn't want I was too young to know the impact that that was going to make on my mother and
Yeah.
the devastation and the way that it was going to come out. My brother was a little bit older than me, so he wasn't trying to stop me, I don't believe, because it was the wrong thing to do. I think he was trying
Yeah.
to stop me because he knew the devastation it was going to do to my mom, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we're going to end that here.
Yeah.
And we'll tell you what happened in the next podcast.
Yes.
But please post your remarks. We'd love to hear if you've all had any miracles. We'd love to hear
Yeah.
what you think of MaryAnne being bold and calling her mother.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear any kind of comments, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, that's awesome. So
Well,
anyway, so
we'll see you
again,
next week.
MaryAnne's book is called Miracles. You can get it on Amazon. I don't know the cost, but
I don't. I think it's $12.95 for
Okay.
the softback and 24 something for the hardback.
Excellent
So,
read. I read it, like I said, I read this
Mhm.
in one day.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
not
fascinating.
it's not a big book. But it's power packed. It's a very small book. I think it's only 89 pages, but every page is just power packed, and
Yes.
you won't be able to put it down, is what everybody has told me. So,
Yes, yes.
yeah.
So thank you, MaryAnne. I'm so glad that we
Thanks,
got this
Kathy, for
opportunity
doing
to
this.
do this again. So,
Yeah.
all right, guys, we'll see you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.